Welcome back to K-Astrology, and if you're new here, welcome. My name is Kaylin, and today I'm going to be doing your February 2021 horoscope. I also do monthly tarot predictions for all 12 zodiac signs, along with pick a card readings. If you'd like to see more content from me, please subscribe to K-Astrology. Now, I'm going to leave timestamps in the description box below, so please feel free to jump straight to your sign. For those of you who are sticking around, I'm going to quickly run through your sun, moon, and rising sign horoscopes and how they differ, okay? Your rising sign, otherwise known as your ascendant sign, will always be the most overall accurate horoscope for you. It does not matter how much you identify with that rising sign, okay? You could be an Aries rising, but you're a Cancer sun and you feel more like a Cancer. That's fine. The Aries rising horoscope will be the most accurate for you. Now, with your sun horoscope, this will pertain to your conscious will and your career and any goals and ambitions that you have. Your moon sign will be in relation to, your moon sign horoscope will be in relation to all relationships in your life, your emotional state, and your living circumstances. As I said, the rising sign will be the most accurate and will encompass all of those aforementioned things. Anyway, guys, thanks for sticking around for this intro. You can now head to your timestamp in the description box below. Hi Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings. Welcome to your February 2021 horoscope. This month is just as intense and hectic as January was. And adding to the mix, we have Mercury being retrograde, and this will be in your 11th house. Mercury stationed retrograde on the 31st of January, and it will be retrograde for 3 weeks. Every time Mercury goes retrograde, we start reviewing, revising, and making basically adjustments to any plans that we have. Now, in the 11th house, this is in relation to your long-term goals and dreams and ambitions. You might be revising an initial vision. This could be connected to something which you started in December when we had the Great Conjunction being in your 11th house, and it might have been a vision that you had then, and now you're just fine-tuning it or making changes which you weren't expecting. Okay, or you could actually just be reviewing what your plans are for the future. And this isn't necessarily short-term plans, okay? I'm talking about the big picture vision for what you envision for your future. Now, on another level, Mercury retrograde in the 11th house can essentially indicate issues with friendships, okay? So there may be some miscommunications in your wider networks with your friendship circle. It could be miscommunications with your your older siblings, I should say. And certainly you can be having a lot more communications with all those aforementioned groups of people. On another level, if you are involved in careers connected to IT, the stock markets, marketplaces in general, or anything which requires the organization of really large interconnected systems. All of these areas are subject to having issues arise that you have to deal with, or you could just be making adjustments in these areas. Now, on a totally different level, you could actually be reevaluating your friendships as a whole, or your communities or organizations that you're a part of. You might have not been very happy with some certain groups that you are involved with, and you're thinking about cutting certain people loose. On a totally different level, Mercury retrograde in the 11th house can see people that you haven't spoken to in forever coming out of the woodwork, and you're like, wow, I haven't spoken to this person literally for years. And for some of you, if you have an estranged relationship with an older sibling, especially if it's an immediate older sibling, you might surprisingly hear from them, okay? Or you could actually be inclined to reach out to people that you haven't spoken to for ages, or an older sibling who you're not in communication with. Now, on the 2nd of February, Venus will enter the sign of Aquarius. In this instance, we can see help come in, okay? So if you've had any issues with those careers related to IT and large networks and systems, you can have help come in. I forgot to say, with Mercury being retrograde, for those of you who have gone through a divorce, or you're currently in the process of undergoing a divorce, you might have issues related to paperwork or court cases going awry, all right? You might need to, you might have a court case that's adjourned, you might have paperwork which you're waiting on, which is delayed, or you could have to change, you may even have to change your whole approach in terms of a court case. Now, back to Venus being in Aquarius in your 11th house, we can see help from a friend, okay? That can enter, help can enter the picture, I should say. It can be in the form of a friend, an older sibling, or even a woman in your life, or someone who has very feminine energy, and they come in to help in any of these aforementioned areas. And you could certainly see a breakthrough related to your friendship circles, your networks, a divorce case, anything to do with those careers which I mentioned. All right, with Venus here, we see a helping hand in a nutshell. Now, on the 12th of February, I keep forgetting that it's February. I keep wanting to say January because it's January as I'm filming this. Nonetheless, on the 12th of Feb, we have a new moon in Aquarius at 23 degrees. This is also in your 11th house. At this time, we will also have Mercury still being retrograde in Aquarius. We have Venus, Jupiter, and Saturn all in Aquarius. So, you know, this is quite intense Aquarian energy, obviously. But the reason that I mention it is because new moons don't always have to be exciting. It can be as simple as, you know, moving your, like changing the date of a conference, right? But with this heavy Aquarian energy, all squaring Mars and Uranus in Taurus, we see a new beginning and a new chapter which will take seed within 4 weeks from that date. Okay, so by mid-March, this new beginning will have taken place, and this is in relation to a new initiative with a life goal, a dream or ambition. This could even be you starting to make moves towards retirement, or even getting your ducks in a row for a big salary increase, or some kind of, you could even see like an accolade or an award, or receive an achievement, all right? But you won't receive it within 4 weeks. It'll be for what you start now within 1 month. You will see the return on this investment or this new beginning that you start 6 months from now. Now, on a totally different level, you could actually be joining some kind of new group, network, friendship circle, or organization. And all of this will start taking place within 1 month. Now, on the 18th of February, Pisces season will commence. Okay, so the sun will enter Pisces, and this will be in your 12th house. Wherever the sun goes, this is where we start focusing on the nature of that house. Okay, so the 12th house is connected to rest, relaxation, spirituality, yoga, meditation, and also psychology as well. So on one level, you may be delving into those things which are really, you know, nurturing and indulging in your self-care, or they could simply become front and center for you for the next 4 weeks. On a different level, the 12th house also represents our subconscious fears, phobias, any kind of repressed emotion or issue that we haven't dealt with. So some of you may be thinking long and hard about why you have certain fears or phobias or aversions to things which make no sense to you. Because with the 12th house, this represents anything that is hidden from us. So it can be like a fear or phobia and you don't know what the cause of that is or where that stems from. So you can focus on that from the 18th of Feb for 4 weeks. Also on the 18th of February, we will see the most important astrological transit for the entire year take place. And that is Saturn in Aquarius squaring Uranus in Taurus. And that'll be a square from your 11th house to your 2nd house. Both of these two houses are concerned with your finances, all right? The 2nd house is your financial income. It's your valuables, your possessions, and anything that you value, even including yourself, how much you value yourself. Your 11th house is your salary and your gains, and it's what you achieve as a result of your career and your service to the public or to the community at large. Now, this square is so electrifying, right? Because Saturn and Uranus could not be more opposite in nature. You could call them polar opposites even. Saturn is concerned with structure and foundations and tradition. Uranus is all about bucking convention, saying goodbye to tradition, swift and sudden change, and it does not like structure, okay? So there's a real clash here. And what's interesting is that both of these planets are the ruler of Aquarius, which again, we see this taking place in your 11th house. So the way that this can play out for you, Aries, is that you can have a sudden and dramatic change when it comes to your financial income, how you make money, your salary. And this can also see you restructuring your entire plan that you had for how to essentially set yourself up for the future. Okay, for some of you, again, this could be in relation to retirement. This could be about a long-term goal or ambition that you have. This can be throwing out an old plan, scrapping it all entirely, and starting afresh. In any case, this transit will see you undergoing changes in these areas which you didn't expect. That's not to say that none of this is in your control. It's more how much of this is in your control is definitely related to how much you are in alignment with your life's calling, with your career, with what you should be focusing on in this life, in this incarnation. Now, for some of you, these surprises or changes regarding your long-term goals and ambitions will shock other people around you, but it might even shock yourself. You may be like, oh my God, I can't believe I suddenly don't want to do this anymore. I'm letting go of this. I'm walking away from this organization or group or community. You could be just changing what you value in relation to friendship circles and networks, okay? Don't forget that Mercury is still retrograde while this transit is taking place. So your values, as denoted by the 2nd house, can see a total change and a shift, and you're going, well, these friendship circles and networks that I built, or these communities or organizations that I'm a part of, are just not in alignment with my values anymore. So you could be walking away from something which you had no intention of doing, but one day you just wake up and you're like, I'm done, bye. And it can be as sudden as that, or, in any case, you could start putting these plans into effect for the whole year, and then you actually make the final change on the 24th of December. Now, on a totally different level, you might see an older sibling have a big blue with your parents, maybe even your mother specifically, or there could be a very unexpected change regarding their living situations. Okay, they could suddenly sell, this is your older sibling, okay, or one of your older siblings. They could suddenly sell a house, suddenly relocate abroad, or suddenly relocate back home, okay, to the homeland where they were born. Moving along, on the 21st of February, Mercury will station direct in your 11th house. Now, don't forget that with Mercury retrogrades, we always have a post-shadow period, which goes for approximately 2 weeks. So while the intensity of, the first 3 weeks of the month regarding your friendship circles, your larger groups, networks that you're a part of, or even miscommunications with your siblings, all of these things that you may or may not have encountered, it may have been one thing, it may have been all of the above. All of these can start to settle down, but just allow that 2-week leeway period for things to really settle right down. And especially if you are waiting for important documents to arrive in relation to a big conference that you're planning, if you are involved in a leadership position in relation to a big group, community or organization, or even a fundraiser, any documents that you're waiting on, if you're waiting for the dust to settle so that you can start making new plans, or you're waiting for like signed, sealed approvals to come through, just wait until like the first week of March, and then, it'll be all systems go. Now, on the 26th of February, Venus will enter the sign of Pisces, and this will be in your 12th house. If you have a significant other, you can enjoy more intimacy with your partner on a different level. You may just be able to relax and rejuvenate, and you might even be enjoying meditation or yoga or spirituality at this time. You might even have a friend give you like an astrology reading or a tarot reading, or you may even seek this out, and if you do, you will receive some kind of healing or blessing from this, or even just like a bit of reassurance if that's what you're looking for. Now, on the 27th of February, we will have a full moon in Virgo at 8 degrees, and this will be in your 6th house. Now, with full moons, we always see the close of a chapter, okay? It's about the ending of a cycle, things coming full circle, culmination, even celebration in some instances, right? So with the 6th house, some of you Aries, Sun, Moon, and Risings can see the close of a chapter in relation to a health issue that you may have been experiencing. If you have a bad habit that you want to kick, or just some kind of routine which has not been benefiting you, you can actually finally kick this to the curb for good, right? We do actually have an opposition with Venus in Pisces in your 12th house, and this opposition will see help coming in the form of another person who actually allows you to express your emotional side, or any kind of repressed issues that you have, or even if you're suffering from some kind of addiction or like a fixation with something and you really want to let go of that, you can have a bit of a helping hand in that respect. Now, for some of you, it can be as simple as the end of a cleanse or a detox that you've been doing, right? You could be finishing up with that. Remember, this is a general reading, so not all of these situations will apply. It really will depend on your individual chart. But for some of you, you could be finishing up a work project, right? And it could have gone really well as well. This new moon will be making a nice trine to Uranus in your 2nd house of finances. So something that you're finally tying up a loose end, or you're closing the book on this chapter, you can see a nice little addition to your piggy bank, or you might even indulge yourself as a reward for completing this task or this project. On a totally different level, issues or disagreements in the workplace either with your boss or for people who work for you, can finally be resolved. If you're involved in a court case at the moment, a matter in relation to this court case could be resolved as well, and you can certainly reach some kind of resolution. And again, this can result in you even winning the case. All right, I see that happening because we have that trine to Uranus in the second house. Now, that's not to say that this is like a huge court case ending. It could even be that, you know, you received a fine or there's some kind of misdemeanor and, you know, you're finally putting it to bed. Lastly, you could be leaving your job altogether, all right? You're finishing up at a workplace or in a current department that you work in. Could even be leaving an industry that you've been working in. This can always play out in a number of different ways, but that's all I have for you today for your February 2021 horoscope. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share this video if you want it to reach more people. If you know any other Aries who you think might enjoy it, that would be great. If you want to see more content from me, please subscribe to K-Astrology. I have actually posted my tarot predictions for all 12 zodiac signs for Feb 2021, so you can check those out as well. Enjoy February, my lovely Aries, and I will see you guys next month.